Schisters snapped.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about Singapore and Colombia and my experiences within these two countries. So I was able to get the full-on experience by actually staying in people's houses while I was in the countries, and I got to see the diversity, the culture, all within the house in their daily lives. So I have some pictures for y'all.
I know. The photos look photoshopped, but I can guarantee you not. It's just really good camera quality. But anyway, the first few photos are from Singapore, and the one of the colorful buildings and all the way to the end are actually Colombia. First topic we want to talk about is Singapore and the country values. My family from Singapore picked me up, and here's a picture of them right here. Mama, kiss, kiss. And so they picked me up, and we went to their house, and there was a bunch of rooms. So I asked, why was there a bunch of rooms? And the response was they used to have a bunch of family there, but due to the modernization and the industry of Singapore and how fast-paced it is, they decided to kick everyone out, and now it's mostly the nuclear family with the occasional grandma and grandma. Much conducted research, we have come to the conclusion that the mother's mean of age when giving birth to their first child is 30 years. And what this shows is that they have contraceptives, meaning they have condoms and stuff. And they also have like values embedded within the family, like first marriage, then babies, but after that they value school. And what I've also found is that they judge your actions harshly. Wrong actions will sometimes end up in you being shunned. As a nation, Singapore is changing. I realized that as I was there. The people were telling me all about how individuality is finally being embraced, how children are given more rights within the family when they were just told to shush, and how the women are finally becoming less like mother figures in the stereotypical mom, but more like a headstrong woman in the country. Their values are changing, and most Singaporeans are embracing this wonderful and powerful change. And Colombia, however, had some similar family values, but yet had some very different family values, if you know what I mean. So, after my trip to Singapore, I went immediately to Colombia because we already on a roll. So, I stayed with my friend Michelle and her family in Colombia, and she was telling me about how family is the most important aspect in Colombia. She was telling me how it provides a sense of belonging and identity to Colombians. And as I met her mother, she was telling me how the house was a patriarchy and how her main roles were just to watch the children and to do household stuff, which it's probably not changing anytime soon due to religion and other aspects. She said it just won't be changing. And I met Michelle's padrinos, which were Sammy and Brianna. And so they were telling me how their main role is to simply guide and aid Michelle or the child. So then we went and we explored the city, and her grandmother named Marissa telling me how both the parents actually have an authoritative role even into the child's adult life, and how that surprise pregnancies are not uncommon in Colombia due to the lack of contraceptives. And she was telling me how the family was so close that multi-generations even lived in the households, and it's probably going to stay like that because the closer they are, the stronger the bond, and family means everything. The birth rate of Colombians is 16 births per 1,000, and that's pretty high number, but not high, a lot high, like in some other countries. And the mother's mean of age is usually the age of 21 to 22. Spending my time with Michelle and her family got to even expand my mind already even more. And I was just so dumbfounded by all the new information I received, not only in Singapore, but in Colombia as well. As Michelle wanted me to experience the full Colombian experience, we actually went to a soccer game, side note. And here's a photo of that. I know, really great.
If I would cry, but Colombians and their family dynamics being ruined due to violence and due to the hardships they have to face. And the family dynamic is slowly diminishing because of it.
Alright, that's it for the vlog. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and tweet me at David Dobrik, and that's it.
Bye, sisters.